All right, good morning, everybody. Tuesday, July 23rd, 2024. Let's go ahead and take a look at what happened here yesterday. We did have some clues that there was some strength from the low of last week, and it made sense coming into this week for the market to try and push higher. So that was kind of what we were thinking here as we came into the open, and we did push higher. It just took a little bit of time. As you can see, here's the open here, our vertical line. And from there, we just kind of went sideways all throughout the morning here, probably for the first 2-3 hours of the market. And then finally, and this is kind of the key thing here, guys, on the pullback, they could not really get through 50% of the previous day, right? That was a very important line in the sand yesterday for our bias. And I said if we can hold above 50% of the previous day, that was a clue for the market to try and push higher. So it's kind of exactly what happened here. Notice some of the beautiful rotations we got. Market open, and they pulled back basically to the roadmap level. It did break it by just under 2 points, I believe, or just about 2 points. And then we got this nice push to retest the high of the day before. So came back up to test up into, what was it, Friday's high, and got a pretty decent pullback from there. Even got some good bearish divergence. There was also that great opportunity to buy the pullback here as we were starting to break out to the upside with zero risk, and then you could have took your profit right in front of this area and made yourself just about 10 points. Right on the pullback, unfortunately, we didn't get a beautiful kiss of the 200 for a continuation. Like I said, it was kind of back and forth for the first 3 hours here, so they brought it all the way back down. Tried to hold here below the VWAP, and then it came all the way back up, right? So nothing super neat there, nothing sexy to look at. It just came back out and then started to ride right back up, right? So we got the push all the way up to kiss to the tick right into the high the day before again, only to pull back and bounce to the tick off our roadmap level here, just like it did out of the open. And then we got a final test of the previous daily high before they came all the way back down to the lows of the morning and retested 50% of the previous day. So on the way down there, guys, this is the exact type of trade setup that I love, and that is after a third failed attempt to break out through a critical area in the market, we get a push back down through VWAP or through the 200. We get the crossover and we get that kiss right there with beautiful divergence, right? So that is kind of exactly the type of trading I like, is when I recognize that there's weakness from a specific area, right? So if we're looking at this, this was yesterday's morning. Failed off the previous daily high once, failed off of it. There was actually 2 tests to the tick basically right there. Pulled back, held their roadmap level, and came right back to it. And that right there, with bearish divergence off that peak above and fell, and then we fall back through through the 200. I'm sorry, we get back down through that last previous low, and then we fall through the 200 and come back to kiss it. That, my friends, if I was there around 10 o'clock my time, would have been exactly what I would have done, is jumped in here on this short just to see if we could actually get, even if it was just a pullback to the VWAP, I could have grabbed over 5 points to the VWAP. And then what ended up happening, they came all the way back down to 50% of the day before, right? So that, my friends, is exactly the type of trading I like. And from there, it was just an aggressive sell-off. So you had to basically sell the back end of the fast-moving average the whole way down. If you did that, you shouldn't have taken on much risk, and you should have taken profit right in front of 50% of the previous day, because I tell you that every morning. If you're coming into a roadmap level, you better take profit in front of it in case something like this happens in the morning, right? In the morning, it came down and failed quite literally 1.25 points away. So taking profit, let's say you're short from the high of the day, short from the 200, great opportunity to take profit right in front of that level. And sure enough, that's as far as the bears got yesterday. They came right to the very level I warned you guys needed to hold for our bullish bias, right? So from there, We got the 3, and then finally a crazy strong breakout from there. As you can see, as it was holding 50% of the previous day, and it was now pushing back up through the 200, you got 2 opportunities to buy the pullback to the 200 for the attempt of the breakout back up again, right? So you don't know what's going to happen next. We could have just failed from the VWAP and sold lower there, but the 2 holds of the 200, and then what happens? They break out through VWAP. And then from there, it's just an aggressive rally, so you did have to buy the fast moving average on those pullbacks, and this is what I talk about all the time here. In an aggressive breakout, usually that fast moving average becomes your best friend. And then finally, we get the breakout even further to get through the high of the day before there. And basically for the rest of the day, it just traded in a tight range, holding above the high of the day before, right? So finally got up through the main resistance of the morning. If you guys remember, this was exactly where we could not get through for 3-4 tests. And then finally, at the end of the day, they get through it, they kind of complete that task, and then try and hold above it. But now here we come into the open for today. Interestingly enough, in the Globex session here, they held the back end of VWAP, right? There's the kiss nearly to the tick. And if you would have jumped in on that, you should have got at least 20 points to the downside here, or close to 20 points. Notice on the way down last night, and again, this is that kind of ping pong back and forth from our levels. They hold VWAP, and they come right to the support and resistance level at 97. Now remember, Holy Orange Power Level doesn't print until 5 a.m. my time, 6 a.m. Eastern, so that wasn't on the chart, right? So this came up, held VWAP, and then what happened? We held the roadmap level, held VWAP, got through the roadmap level and tried to get down below it, came back to VWAP, and then finally got down through the support and resistance level and came back to use it as resistance, and then finally, quite literally, kissed it to the tick here off of our scaffolding level. And from there, that began this little breakout to the up, or at least this little bounce that we're currently in. You can see they even pulled back right to VWAP on the way up. They got a discrete pullback right off the close of the day before. And now as we get closer here to the New York Open, you can see they came right back to the high of the day before now, which is where we broke out up to yesterday. And now what do you know? We're getting a pullback, kiss off the back end of the close, and now we're holding VWAP. And this trade right here would have been perfect. We've got a pullback into VWAP with a bullish divergence on the peak below, right into the level. Beautiful divergence. How much risk did you have to take on this trade? About a point, right? So if you got in at 0.4, a point and a quarter. So 5 ticks, and it's already up over 5 points. So beautiful opportunity there off VWAP right there. And as you can see, we're kind of stepping up the roadmap levels now. We'll see if we get a continuation in that direction, but let's go ahead and jump up to the higher time frames and see what they have to say for this morning.